Xiao Yin sat with his eyes closed, quietly resting. As his soul power within his body reached saturation, a strange sound emerged from deep within him. At that moment, Xiao Yin knew it was time. Instantly, his eyes snapped open. He's adjusted himself back to peak condition. It seems he's determined to succeed in this breakthrough, commented his soul clone from the side, noticing the sharp change. Let's begin, the real Xiao Yin commanded coldly. In the next moment, brilliant sacred flame power erupted from his body. Boom, boom, boom. The dazzling sacred flame flared up and immediately enveloped Xiao Yan's hand, which was holding a silvery soul stone. The flame seemed to inspect the stone, meticulously burning over every part of it, before finally dimming slightly. Well, you're certainly thorough, his soul clone remarked in surprise. Xiao Yin had taken this extra step to ensure no one had tampered with the soul stone. After all, this stone was critical for the future of the spirit palace. A single oversight could pose a huge threat to its establishment. Xiao Yan's meticulous nature would never allow such a risk. Soul power release? Xiao Yin, now satisfied that the soul stone was free from any tampering, began channeling his soul power into it. Whoosh! Like a rushing stream, the invisible soul power surged out from the soul sea within Xiao Yan's body. Compressing it continuously, he directed it into the soul stone resting in his palm. Come out! Xiao Yin shouted angrily. However, just as he summoned his soul power, he felt a slight resistance. It was as if a portion of his soul power was unwilling to emerge from his soul sea, almost as if it sensed something. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed. As the master of this power, he would not tolerate disobedience. Focusing his mind, he forced the unruly soul power into submission, driving it fully into the silver soul stone before him. Phew! Before long, Xiao Yin felt that every last trace of soul power had been drained from his soul sea. Nodding in satisfaction, he fixed his gaze on the soul stone in his hand. Now that all my soul power is inside this soul stone, it could serve as a hidden trump card in future battles. Though it comes at a hefty cost, it's certainly a powerful tool, Xiao Yin remarked with a grin. He could clearly feel the astonishing energy radiating from the soul stone. The soul power contained within it was at the level of minor perfection of the Earth-class Imperial Realm, more than enough to kill a genuine 7-star Do D. I didn't expect compressing my soul power would be this smooth, Xiao Yin muttered with a trace of surprise as he flipped the silver soul stone in his hand. According to Elder Ye Meng, compressing soul power was supposed to be extremely difficult. Yet for Xiao Yin, it seemed almost effortless. What he didn't realize was that his soul power was exceptionally pure, largely due to absorbing countless soul essences from the Soul Clan. In terms of purity, few could match him. It's time to devour, Xiao Yin whispered to himself. Without further hesitation, he raised the soul stone and once again summoned the earthen-colored sacred flame. If it's like Elder Ye Meng said, devouring a soul stone should be similar to devouring sacred flames. What I need to do now is encase the soul stone with the sacred flame. That's the key to the next breakthrough, Xiao Yin thought, his mind focused. Devour, he commanded. In an instant, the sacred flame surged toward the silver soul stone, carrying an overwhelming, unstoppable force. Boom, boom, boom. The moment the sacred flame touched the soul stone, it trembled violently and became restless, as though it realized the flame sought to devour it. The soul stone was no longer calm. It fought back with all its might. At the same time, Xiao Yin suddenly felt his connection with the soul power inside the soul stone sever. It was as if the soul stone had taken control of the compressed soul power and was using it to resist his sacred flame. This soul stone is truly rebellious, Xiao Yin muttered, a dangerous gleam in his eyes. He immediately sensed an immense pressure emanating from the silver soul stone. Of course, Xiao Yin recognized this pressure. It was his own soul power at the minor perfection of the Earth-class Imperial Realm. However, the soul stone was using this power to fight against his sacred flame. Even though minor perfection of the Earth-class Imperial Realm soul power is strong, compared to my sacred flame, it's no more than a small fry facing a giant. And so, shatter. Xiao Yan's voice carried an undeniable authority, laced with the unstoppable force of the raging flame. Woo woo woo. The Soul Stone, realizing it couldn't resist Xiao Yan's immense sacred flame power, suddenly weakened. Its feeble whimper sounded like it was begging for mercy. Why didn't you just do this earlier? Xiao Yan chuckled as he felt the waves of submission coming from the Soul Stone. His terrifying onslaught had finally frightened the Soul Stone into submission, and now, it dared not harbor even the slightest dissatisfaction toward him. Come on. After a brief pause, Xiao Yan spoke again. As soon as he finished, the silver-white Soul Stone in his palm flashed and instantly transformed into a stream of white light, surging into his body under the cover of his earth-colored sacred flame power. Boom, boom, boom. The moment the Soul Stone entered Xiao Yan's body, he felt an intense repulsion, as if something inside him was fiercely resisting its entry. What on earth is it? Xiao Yan couldn't help but let out a cold grunt, his expression growing cautious. If this continued, once his Do Qi was exhausted, it would spell his death. He knew he couldn't just sit around and wait for that to happen. Soul Stone, get in there. Gritting his teeth against the pain, Xiao Yan forcibly shoved the Soul Stone into his Soul Sea. Only then did he feel his body settle into a stable state. I wonder what that power was just now. It was incredibly strong, Xiao Yan muttered, relieved the danger had passed. Unbeknownst to him, the mysterious force resisting the Soul Stone was the sinister soul-devouring rune, but he hadn't noticed it. Now, it's time for the breakthrough. With everything in place, Xiao Yan compressed the soul energy into the Soul Stone, and as it absorbed it, he smiled. Break through for me, Xiao Yan softly commanded. Slowly, his soul power began to spread out from the Soul Stone within his Soul Sea. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. During those 3 days, EngSubs wasn't too worried. Every morning and evening, she visited to check on Xiao Yan's progress. Ye Meng and the others said nothing, aware of the powerful backing EngSubs had. Besides, they knew that breaking through to a second-rank Imperial Alchemist would require more than just a day or two. It's the 5th day. On this day, EngSubs arrived as usual, praying for Xiao Yan. Partly, she was waiting for him, but she was also avoiding her own cultivation. She had reached a bottleneck and feared that staying at her residence would only result in more lectures from her master. This kid's mastery of soul power rivals even Fuyao's, Ye Meng remarked as he emerged slowly, speaking to EngSubs. He hadn't left the alchemy room these past few days, staying to guard against any problems Xiao Yan might encounter during his breakthrough. He was also curious to see what tricks this youngster could pull off. By the way, where's Leng Fuyao? EngSubs asked, noticing her absence. Haha, that girl was quite shaken by Xiao Yan's progress. She's been pestering me to let her go out for some training. I finally gave in to her begging. She's probably training hard now, especially since I promised she could visit the ruins. Ye Meng chuckled. What a character! EngSubs laughed as well, knowing a bit about Ye Meng's personality. Suddenly, as the two conversed, thunderclouds gathered in the sky. Disperse! With a flick of his hand, Ye Meng instantly scattered the clouds, sending them vanishing from the sky. Looks like he's done it. 5 days, what a monster. Even with all his experience, Ye Meng could only describe Xiao Yan as a freak of nature. He had never seen anyone compress soul power and absorb a soul stone in just 5 days. EngSubs nodded in agreement, silently grateful that Ye Meng had dispersed the thunderclouds. If they had remained, Xiao Yan would have attracted unwanted attention. Did he succeed? EngSubs' eyes gleamed with anticipation as she saw Xiao Yan step out from the small space. Just barely, Xiao Yan smiled back at her. He had truly become a second-rank Imperial Alchemist. Imperial Alchemists of the second rank were divided into heaven, earth, and human grades. Xiao Yan's current strength placed him at the mid-level of the human grade. Hee, you never cease to amaze, Ye Meng laughed. Thank you for your help, senior. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask. Xiao Yan clasped his hands and spoke sincerely to Ye Meng. The value of the soul stone was enough to warrant such gratitude. We're all family here, no need for such formalities. There's actually something I need to discuss with you. Ye Meng spoke up, as if he had been waiting for Xiao Yan to say those exact words. What is it? Xiao Yin frowned slightly, clearly surprised by Ye Meng's cunning. It seemed that Soul Stone had been part of this old fox's plan all along, and Xiao Yin suddenly felt like he had fallen into a trap. Hee, don't worry, it's not something difficult for you, Ye Meng reassured him. My request is simple. When you enter the ruins, take Leng Fuyao with you and bring her out safely. That's all. What? Xiao Yin was taken aback. The news about the ruins hadn't even been made public yet, and if he agreed to this, he'd be bound to a difficult promise. Don't be afraid. News about the ruins will likely spread soon, and my request isn't unreasonable. Ye Meng continued, sensing Xiao Yan's hesitation. Take Leng Fuyao with you. While she may not be the strongest fighter, her expertise in identifying and refining pills, especially antidotes, far surpasses yours. You'll benefit from having her along. Seeing that Xiao Yin was still reluctant, Ye Meng quickly added, Trust me, you won't lose out by bringing her. I can agree to that, Xiao Yin said after some thought, but she has to follow my lead. If anything goes wrong inside, I'm not taking responsibility. Of course, Ye Meng nodded. I'll make sure she understands. Come find me again when news of the ruins breaks. For now, since you both seem to have other matters to attend to, I won't keep you any longer. Ye Meng gave a subtle signal that their conversation was over. Let's go, Xiao Yin said, turning to Qin Xian. Let's head back first. Qin Xian nodded slightly and led the way out of the alchemy room. Farewell. Xiao Yin gave a brief nod to Ye Meng and then slowly followed Qin Xian out. Xiao Yin, Ye Meng muttered under his breath, watching Xiao Yin leave. How could such a good prospect end up benefiting that scoundrel Zhu Jin? His dissatisfaction was clear, though he said no more. Master, have they left? As soon as Xiao Yin and Qin Xian were gone, Leng Fuyao stormed out from a wooden hut nearby, exuding a fiery aura. It was clear she had been refining pills just moments before. They just left. What's on your mind? Ye Meng asked, intrigued by his prized disciple's unusual interest in Xiao Yin. It was the first time she had shown any concern for a man, so he couldn't help but ask a few more questions. Did he succeed? Leng Fuyao's eyes flashed with determination as she bit her lip, staring at the spot where Xiao Yin had disappeared. Yes, he did, Ye Meng nodded. He spent 5 days in that compressed space, absorbing soul power from the soul stone. 5 days? How is that possible? Leng Fuyao's expression shifted. I remember you, master. Took an entire month back then. This Xiao Yin. Her words trailed off as her face grew more serious. Hee, that's why I said his understanding of soul power isn't beneath yours. Ye Meng chuckled, clearly pleased with his observation. I see, master. I'll follow him into the ruins this time, Leng Fuyao said firmly, her eyes full of resolve before disappearing, no doubt heading back to her cultivation. That would be for the best. Ye Meng sighed, feeling a headache coming on. But I just hope nothing unexpected happens. This girl's temper is like a powder keg. One spark and she'll explode. If no one reins her in, she's bound to cause trouble. Shaking his head, Ye Meng muttered to himself, Still, Xiao Yin, although Leng Fuyao can be a handful, her nature isn't bad. I just hope this trip to the ruins will help her grow a bit. She'll need it for the sect's upcoming competition. He glanced into the distance and then slowly vanished, heading off to tend to other matters. Back at Qin Xian's residence, Xiao Yin voiced the question that had been gnawing at him. So, what exactly is this ruin? Why is it taking so long for any news to surface? Qin Xian, who had always struck Xiao Yin as someone who knew a great deal, was his best shot at getting more information. I don't know all the details about this ruin either, Qin Xian replied, but what I do know is that it's no small matter. The ruins involve ancient secrets tied to the Xinling royal family, and there's even talk of a potential heir. She continued, the seal on the ruins is incredibly powerful. Most of the major sects are already preparing to make their move. Once that seal weakens, they'll rush in to explore. Rumor has it the seal will break in about 2 months. It will take at least 3 months for it to begin, Qin Xian remarked thoughtfully. Looks like we'll have enough time to refine the pills then. Xiao Yin nodded slightly at her words, then fell silent. As Qin Xian mentioned the inheritor, an image flickered briefly in Xiao Yan's mind, a silhouette. It was of Yu Ru, likely his first real friend on the Xinling continent. With her father's help, they had even forged an identity for him, allowing Xiao Yin to cultivate safely within the incense pavilion. Without that, a supreme sect like Incense Pavilion would never have accepted someone like him, whose identity was shrouded in mystery. I wonder how she's doing now. When she first joined that super sect, she said she would come find me once she reached the perfect 5-star Do D and broke through the 6-star Do D life tribulation. Xiao Yin shook his head helplessly. All he felt toward Yu Ru was a bit of guilt, a desire to repay her for how much the Yu family had done for him. What are you thinking about? So lost in thought? Qin Xian was a bit surprised. With Xiao Yin, there was always so much promise and ambition surrounding him. Yet she had never seen him look this distracted. Nothing much, just some bittersweet memories. Best not to dwell on them. Oh, by the way, since I've now advanced to second-rank Imperial Alchemist, I can start refining the pills you need sooner. Refining pills isn't like cultivation. It takes a lot of time. Xiao Yin quickly changed the subject. MHM. The pill I'm refining this time will likely be at the pinnacle of alchemy. Are you confident? Qin Xian hesitated before asking. After all, pill refining was no trivial matter. Failure could result in disaster. The pill she needed for her second-rank Imperial human grade was incredibly rare, and it had taken her a great deal of effort to gather 3 sets of ingredients. Wasting them would be a huge loss. A peak second-rank Imperial human grade pill? Shouldn't be too difficult. Xiao Yin smiled slightly. While Qin Xian's question was fair, Xiao Yin didn't brag. He knew Qin Xian held something he needed, so he was determined to give it his all. Let's go to the back courtyard. It's quieter there. Qin Xian glanced around her residence, then urged Xiao Yin forward. Let's go, Xiao Yin agreed without delay, heading straight to the back. The two of them arrived in a rather run-down firewood shed. It might look shabby, but it's the perfect spot for refining pills, Qin Xian said, unfazed. Although this was her home, she spent so much time cultivating that she didn't bother keeping every room spotless. No problem, Xiao Yin didn't care about such things. After all, an alchemist only needed flame, a cauldron, and ingredients. The condition of the place didn't matter. Well then, let's get started. Qin Xian was slightly pleased with Xiao Yan's straightforwardness. If this pill wasn't of such great importance to her, and if she didn't want others to know, Qin Xian's pride would never have allowed her to ask for Xiao Yan's help. Especially since she was supplying such valuable ingredients, it pained her a little to do so. Though her backing was powerful enough, it wasn't in her nature to throw away resources carelessly. Here, these are the 3 sets of ingredients. If you can succeed even once, the rest of the ingredients are yours. And don't worry, you'll be well compensated once it's done. With a flick of her delicate fingers, 3 bundles of medicinal herbs appeared, which she then tossed to Xiao Yin. All right. Xiao Yin nodded, understanding that such exchanges were typical between alchemists. Get ready. I'm about to begin. While I'm refining, don't let anyone disturb me. Unless I call for you, don't touch me, Xiao Yin warned seriously. Though it was just pill refining, certain things had to be made clear. Any slip-up at a critical moment could ruin the process, something he couldn't afford. I understand. Qin Xian nodded and signaled her agreement, her eyes fixed on Xiao Yin. Anything else? Xiao Yin asked when he saw her lingering. No. I just thought, even though I'm not an alchemist, I could still watch. If anything unexpected happens, I could help. That won't be necessary. Leave, Xiao Yin replied coldly. You, Qin Xian's temper flared instantly. At home, even the strongest alchemists, stronger than this mere second-rank Imperial alchemist, would be eager to let her observe. But Xiao Yin was. The stark difference was infuriating. My habit is that when I'm refining pills, I don't like to be disturbed, and I especially hate being watched. Xiao Yin explained coldly, before quietly adjusting his breath. In front of him, 3 sets of medicinal ingredients lay untouched. Humph! Alchemists truly are an unreasonable bunch. I'm leaving. Despite Xiao Yan's explanation, Qin Xian still felt wronged. With a huff, she closed the door to the woodshed and, just to be sure, placed an additional seal over it using her energy. Xiao Yin, it's all up to you now. I hope you don't disappoint me. Once this sect competition is over, I'll be going back to inherit that thing. If they find out about my internal injuries now, I'm afraid. Qin Xian said these words with a sigh, as if entrusting him with a heavy burden. Then, she slowly disappeared, leaving Xiaoyan alone. Don't worry. As long as I, Xiaoyan, the Flame Emperor, am here, this peak first-rank Imperial human pill won't pose any threat. Xiaoyan responded with a faint smile to Qin Xian's unspoken prayer, though the only reply he received was the sound of the wind. Mystic Yin Pill. In the woodshed, after calming his breath, Xiaoyan's gaze fell on one of the 3 sets of ingredients, which also included a scroll. At that moment, a faint but powerful soul force hovered over the scroll, clearly indicating it was protected by some kind of safeguard. Any seasoned expert could see that at a glance. This scroll contained the recipe for the pill he was about to refine. Alchemists really are a versatile profession, Xiaoyan muttered with a slight smirk as he looked at the recipe. Indeed, as a high-level alchemist sought by others, not only did people come prepared with their own materials, but they even had to hand over their rare and precious recipes. After all, it was they who sought the alchemist's help. Without materials, even the best alchemist couldn't perform miracles. And without a recipe, the alchemist couldn't make much of anything useful. So, the ingredients and the recipe were naturally handed over to the alchemist. Mystic Yin Pill. Why does that name sound familiar? Xiaoyan murmured, picking up the recipe as he tried to recall something. Didn't Uncle Golden Dragon King mention once that the Mystic Yin Pill is especially good for healing injuries in women? I wonder what Qin Xian plans to use this pill for. Xiaoyan mused. Forget it. Let's take a closer look. Unable to figure it out, Xiaoyan decided to investigate further. Boom, boom, boom. Mobilizing the soul power stored within his soul stone, Xiaoyan directed it at the recipe. This time, channeling his soul energy felt much easier than ever before, a clear testament to the soul stone's compression abilities. But in the next moment, a terrifying surge of soul force erupted from the scroll. Well now, this is quite a high-level recipe. Xiaoyan's expression became more serious. He realized that even with his current soul power, he couldn't easily break through the scroll's defenses. Gritting his teeth, he focused even more, drawing on deeper reserves of his soul energy to gradually unlock the scroll. Soul power was essential to reading and understanding alchemy recipes. Swoosh swoosh. Before long, beads of sweat appeared on Xiaoyan's forehead as the scroll finally began to yield to his efforts. The Mystic Yin Pill can heal difficult and rare conditions, and it is especially effective for women with congenital cold ailments. It is said to work wonders for those born with certain hidden injuries. As Xiaoyan read this part, his expression shifted, becoming a bit more puzzled. Could it be that Qin Xian had sought him out to refine this pill because she was suffering from some kind of hidden injury? But with Xiaoyan's vast soul power, he hadn't detected anything wrong with her body. He hesitated. If that wasn't the reason, then why did she choose him over other alchemists? After pondering for a moment with no answer in sight, Xiaoyan resumed reading, hoping the recipe would provide some clues. Required ingredients: Blood Ocean Heavenly Spring, Azure Flame Mystic Thunder, Fallen Star Branch. That's it. Xiaoyan frowned at the short list of ingredients. Wait, there's more. Suddenly, he noticed a few small lines of text at the bottom of the recipe. If combined with Sacred Blood Ganoderma, this pill can completely cure hidden ailments. These seemingly insignificant words shocked Xiaoyan deeply. It seems that Qin Xian's secret and her backing must be related somehow. She came to me to refine this pill to avoid letting others find out about her hidden condition. Looks like she made a wrong move, though, and I ended up discovering it by chance. But these hidden ailments, they are truly difficult to deal with. Although the 3 sets of medicinal ingredients didn't contain the so-called Sacred Blood Ganoderma, Xiaoyan's keen intuition told him there was more to it. It seemed that Qin Xian had deliberately concealed the real secret, though she had carelessly forgotten to handle this particular recipe. Forget it. Let's not overthink things. Regardless of Qin Xian's background, this is a fair trade. As long as it benefits me, there's no need to worry about anything else. Xiaoyan shook his head, trying to dispel unnecessary thoughts. Time to begin refining, he murmured. Although this pill is at the peak of second-rank imperial human grade, the process won't be short. Even with just the 3 main ingredients, it'll probably take a fair amount of time, Xiao calculated mentally before speaking aloud. As soon as he finished speaking, his attention turned to the 3 sets of ingredients before him. Despite the fact that all 3 sets contained identical materials, there were 3 portions in total. After all, even a master alchemist could fail during pill refinement, so having extra ingredients was always a wise choice. Who would have thought EngSubs' ingredients were of such high quality? With the support of my sacred flame, the pill I refine will surely produce pill veins. With that, the compensation I'll receive is more than justified, Xiao chuckled to himself. Pill veins are only formed when a pill is refined to the utmost limit, and when they appear, both the energy and quality of the pill become exceptional. First step, let's begin. Come forth, cauldron, Xiao said after inspecting the ingredients and finding nothing amiss. With that, he reached into his storage ring and retrieved a pill cauldron, the legendary Black Demon Cauldron. This cauldron had once belonged to his master, Yao Lao, who used it for pill refining. Xiao had long coveted it, and it was only when he left the continent of Doqi that Yao Lao gifted it to him. After all, a powerful alchemist without a proper cauldron was quite the joke. Since Xiao arrival on the Dodi continent, the cauldron had accompanied him. It's been a long time since I last refined a pill, Xiao remarked with a slight smile as he looked at the majestic Black Demon Cauldron. Buzz. The cauldron responded as if it had its own spirit, vibrating joyfully in response to Xiao attention. Let's get to work. Xiao gently stroked the cauldron, allowing himself to rediscover the feel of pill refinement. A slight smirk crept onto his lips. In the past, I always used the power of the imperial flame for refinement, but now that I've absorbed the sacred flame, I suspect this will speed up the process considerably, he thought. With that thought, Xiao willed the power of the earthy yellow sacred flame from within himself, filling the Black Demon Cauldron with its intense energy in an instant. A good cauldron deserves a good flame, Xiao muttered with a strange grin as he watched the sacred flame blaze within the cauldron. With the flame's power, he was confident the refinement process would be much faster than usual. I wonder if I can finish refining these 3 ingredients within a month. The pill thunder tribulation that comes after crafting the second-rank imperial pill will be another challenge, Xiao mused, holding the 3 sets of ingredients while staring intently at the Black Demon Cauldron. Boom! Inside the cauldron, the sacred flame blazed fiercely. Occasionally, the flame tried to escape, but the Black Demon Cauldron forcefully contained it. After all, this cauldron was no ordinary vessel, and there was no chance it would let the fire spill out. At this moment, the intense heat inside the cauldron could likely melt not only flesh but even one's soul power. The temperature's just right, Xiao noted as he sensed the optimal conditions. He let out a slight breath and spoke softly. The first step in pill refinement is always to heat the cauldron. Only by bringing the cauldron to a perfect temperature can you refine ingredients successfully. If the fire isn't strong enough, it's a waste of materials. In the worst-case scenario, both the alchemist and the ingredients would be severely harmed. Next, Xiao set aside 2 of the 3 sets of ingredients, returning them to his storage ring. EngSubs had mentioned that as long as Xiao succeeded in one attempt, the remaining ingredients would be his. Given EngSubs' background, her words were trustworthy. Naturally, Xiao wasn't going to hold back. The ingredients were all incredibly valuable, and even a single one could fetch a fortune at auction. Not that Xiao lacked money. Hopefully, luck is on my side, and I succeed on the first try. It would save me from wasting extra ingredients, he muttered under his breath, grasping the first set of materials in his hand. At this moment, Xiao held only the core ingredients needed to craft the Mystic Pill, the most crucial of which were 3 rare herbs: Blood Ocean Heavenly Spring, Azure Flame Mystic Thunder, and the Fallen Star Branch. These 3 ingredients were the cornerstone of the Mystic Pill. Without any one of them, success would be impossible. Xiao recalled, I remember encountering this item on the continent of Doqi, but at the time, I hadn't yet reached the rank of Dodi, so I couldn't obtain it. A trace of regret flashed in his mind. Blood Ocean Heavenly Spring, a rare treasure from the heavens and earth, takes the form of a palm-sized, rhombus-shaped blood crystal. The conditions for the formation of the Blood Ocean Heavenly Spring are extremely harsh. Not only does it require fresh human blood as nourishment, but it must also be nurtured in the depths of the ocean, making it incredibly difficult to find. The most precious part, however, is sealed within this blood crystal. Only by melting the crystal can the true spring be revealed, Xiao Yin murmured softly. The next moment, Xiao Yin set aside the other herbs and focused solely on holding the rhombus-shaped blood crystal in his hand. Go! With a forceful motion, Xiao Yin tossed the blood crystal into the black demon cauldron. His intention was clear, to melt the blood crystal as quickly as possible. Gurgle, gurgle. Inside the cauldron, the sacred flame blazed intensely, but the sudden introduction of something as solid as the blood crystal caused it to emit a grumbling sound, almost as if the flame was dissatisfied. In response, waves of scorching heat relentlessly struck at the crystal. Boom, boom, boom. Blow after blow, Xiao Yin maintained tight control over his soul power, only to find that the hardness of the blood crystal far exceeded his expectations. Strange. If I can't refine the blood crystal and extract the heavenly spring within, the next steps will be nearly impossible, Xiao Yin thought, puzzled. I refuse to believe that this thing can withstand the full power of the sacred flame. Determined, Xiao Yin unleashed an even more brilliant burst of sacred flame. Under the precise control of his soul power, he directed the flame toward the blood crystal in the cauldron once again. Gradually, faint cracks began to form on the previously unyielding surface of the crystal, a sign of progress. Day after day, Xiao Yin worked tirelessly, refining the blood crystal without pause. Before he knew it, 10 days had passed. It's time. On this particular day, Xiao Yin felt an unusual surge of energy. Seeing the now fractured blood crystal within the cauldron, a smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. Originally, Xiao Yin had estimated it would take 20 days to refine the blood crystal and extract the heavenly spring. Unexpectedly, the power of the sacred flame had halved that time. Refine it. Xiao Yin increased the intensity of his soul power and forcefully pressed down on the cracked crystal. Although the blood crystal had long adapted to the pressure of Xiao Yan's sacred flame, the sudden, overwhelming force caused it to shatter with a loud bang, scattering shards throughout the black demon cauldron. The first step is finally a success, Xiao Yin smiled as he observed the result. Without delay, he directed his soul power to gather the scattered shards of the blood crystal. These fragments were the raw material for the heavenly spring. Boom, boom, boom. As Xiao Yin reassembled the fragments and used the sacred flame to heat them once more, dozens of crystalline droplets slowly emerged, floating within the cauldron. It's done. Xiao Yan's heart leaped with joy at the sight. Next is the fallen star branch. With the first phase complete, Xiao Yin wasted no time. The fallen star branch isn't as tough as the blood crystal, so the refinement should be quicker, Xiao Yin mused. It took 10 days for the blood crystal. The fallen star branch should take only 5. With a smile, Xiao Yin picked up the fallen star branch, an arm-sized, gray branch. The moment he touched it, a chilling sensation spread through his entire body. To his surprise, he could feel the branch resisting the blood demon golden chi within him. This astonishing discovery left Xiao Yin shocked. He knew that unless a powerful 2-star Do Xian intervened, there was no way to resolve the issue of the blood demon golden chi inside him. Even someone as strong as Kai Lin, a 1-star Do Xian, was helpless against it. Let's begin, Xiao Yin muttered, setting aside his thoughts. He tossed the gray fallen star branch into the black demon cauldron. The moment it entered, the vast power of the sacred flame surged toward it under Xiao Yan's control, attempting to refine it. However, the fallen star branch was no ordinary material. It emitted faint traces of gray energy that blocked the flame's intrusion. What a bizarre treasure, Xiao Yin remarked, amused by the strange sight. Laughing, he pulled out a large handful of pills from his robe and swallowed them, clearly preparing for a long battle. Time passed in the blink of an eye, and before long, 5 days had slipped by. On that day, The sturdy fallen star branch was finally refined into a pool of gray liquid by Xiao. Inside the black demon cauldron, the dozens of clear, silver droplets refined from the blood ocean, heavenly spring now mixed with the gray liquid from the fallen star branch, bringing the process of creating the pill closer to completion. The last step is the Azure Flame Mystic Thunder. As for the final ingredient, the Azure Flame Mystic Thunder, it is something added during the condensation of the pill.